Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Sales with Jay and Ron.
Yep, where we are turning script readers into pro salespeople.
All right, guys, today's topic, how to buy properties when you're on the phone with a seller.
Yes, guys. The first thing you need to know is get temp, right? Time, equity, motivation, and price. If you're buying any house, whether in person or on the phone, get temp, guys.
And I kind of want to touch on that because we usually kind of go past it because we dug deep a few times. So pretty much the point of temp, right, guys, it's like it gives you the idea of if the seller's actually ready. If you don't know when you want to sell and you don't know how much you need or why you want to sell, you're probably not that interested, and that's fine. But this is just a base so we can kind of build off of it. And this is the most important information. Screw the house, right? We'll figure out the house stuff, but this is the most important to this seller of if we can buy their house or not. Because if their mortgage is more than what they need for the house, then we can't buy it. So that's why that's always important. Just kind of wanted to touch on that a little. And if you guys really want to know more, please ask us. We'll love to jump in.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, dig into temp, guys, because I'm telling you, you'll be able to know within 5-10 minutes if the person's more serious and ready to go or not.
Yeah. All right, guys, we'll jump into number 2.
Yeah.
So when you're buying properties on the phone, you want to make sure you got the temp from the seller, most important. Then you want to make sure you set a next step, right? And that's usually getting photos. So from there, you're going to ask the seller like, hey, I do appreciate you filling me in on your situation, recap what's going on. Now the next step is that since I can't come take a look personally, since, we usually do this over the phone, that I get some photos so that I could sit with my project manager and just see if we can be in your ballpark for what you need. How does that sound?
Boom, guys. There are a couple alternatives. Getting photos is the most ideal. If you have boots on the ground, somebody there, maybe you can send that person to take photos for you. Maybe they're older and they don't know. Another way is you can get an agent or a photography company to do a Matterport. If you don't know what that is, just Google it. But it's basically a 3D rendering of the house with this special camera that they use. We've done that before when we buy properties in Florida, and all these options work. What we got next? Second call with feedback. So guys, one of the action steps you want, right? If you're setting it up that you need photos, you want to make sure that you set up an action step that involves them agreeing to a second phone call so you can actually give them feedback on the photos that you received, right? So now they told you the temp, right? Time, equity, motivation, price. So you know where they need to be in terms of price. You got the photos. Now you got to make sure you set up an action step where you and them agree on a time that after you send these photos, let's say they sent it Monday night, you have a call set up for Tuesday at 10 a.m. To discuss the condition of the property and the price to see if we're a good fit. So you have to make sure you do that.
Yeah, that's well said. That's essentially what the whole second call is about. It's getting them on the phone, giving them feedback on the photos. Good or bad, that's all you want to do. Now, this is where it gets fun. So the third step is where you either go through the photos and you make sure everything makes sense, because now the second call is, hey, we're going over the feedback for the photos. And then now it's like, hey, do you have time for a third call, or we can do it now, where now we kind of make sure we can agree on terms and price or point you in the right direction. So that's going to look like, hey, Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller, I appreciate you sending the photos over. I know we had that call about that we're in your ballpark for the house, depending on if the condition's the same. So then now let's talk about the next steps of actually purchasing it. And this is what it looks like. So this is going to be where you now go over a blank agreement with them, make sure they're comfortable with it, make sure the price and terms you guys agree on, they're 100% good with, ask them 20 times if they're okay with it. Then you go over this agreement, and if everything makes sense, you take the next steps of purchasing the property.
If you're going to discuss the contract or agreement with them, do it, send it to them on the phone while they're on the phone. Go through with it while they're on the phone and have them sign it while they're on the phone. If they say no, that's all right. But make sure prior to doing that you set that expectation. Right? So you'd be like, hey, if you're all good with the terms and price, the next steps include me sending you the agreement. We're going to go through it together. And if you're comfortable, we can move forward. Is there anything else I need to know before we do this? Are you willing to move forward? Is there anything stopping you? This is the time to do it before you send that agreement, because as soon as you send that agreement, right, what's going to happen is, especially if you filled it out, which is a big no-no, they're going to start shopping you. So you want to make sure you have a commitment from them that once you send out that agreement, that you're going to go through it together. You guys are going to sign it together, and then everyone can move on, instead of, yeah, I'll send you the agreement, and then the guy's going to say something like what we always get, I got to go through it. Give me a couple of days.
After I get the photos, I let the seller know, hey, I think we could be in that 250 range that you actually need. If we can do that, are you 100% ready to move forward?
Boom.
So then now, yes, okay, the next step is now we go over this agreement. Do you have time? Do you have an hour of time? Get that commitment. Make them say yes, so then if they do screw you, it was their word against themselves. So then now, once you do get that, yes, I do have time to go over this agreement, before we go over this agreement, is there anything stopping you from moving forward if the agreement makes sense and we could do that price point that we agreed upon? Anything but a yes, you stop right there, go over what you missed, try to make it happen. But if you get that yes, then that's when you could take that next step and actually do what Ronnie just said. So I just want to make sure we dig deep into that because this is the most important part to get the deal signed. If you come off desperate and you wanting them to sign and you're pushing, you're not going to get it. Make sure you make it where they want to do this. They're asking you for the next step. Just keep that in mind when you're going to buy houses over the phone.
I mean, that's perfect.
That's it.
Yeah, and if you guys just want to watch more on how to close a deal, we have a video dedicated just for that. Click right here.
Boom. Solid.
That was solid.